another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me this evening. A few days ago, I saw a video on, I think it was YouTube, and it was about a woman who had found out her boyfriend had like 3 sex dolls. That she had never been to his home before. And I assumed they'd been intimate together, but I'm not 100% because I never did get that far into the thing. But I just found it very interesting about how awkward she felt when he invited her finally to his home, and he had told her that he had toys, basically, and she found out it was a lot different. I think by the way that she acted, that she decided she probably wasn't going to stay in the relationship because it was very weird, I guess you could say. That she looked very uncomfortable. But that's one reason why I decided to look into this and find out how big of an issue is it, and is it as bad as what some people were saying it was. So far, I'm not real excited about ever meeting anyone that's into these dolls, at least not the way in some of the documentaries and stuff that I was able to look at had the information on there about. But before I get started in it, I wanted to start off with this one documentary. I want to say hi to a few people that I see in the chat. Jackie was the first one that I saw come in. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting myself. And I wanted to say hi to everybody while I was finished setting up. And then Baby Girl came in. Yeah, she says she's never met anyone. And then I told her that I've never met anyone in person that has one of these dolls, but you never know. I mean, it could get sprung upon you and you not even realize it. But hi, Lloyd. Thank you for stopping in. Hope you enjoy this thing. I don't know if any of you in the chat, if you have met anyone that has one of those dolls, or if you've seen one of them. I mean, I would like to hear from you because they kind of look realistic, but I can't get past the feeling that they might feel like a Barbie doll or one of those little rubber dolls, like Baby Tender Love or whatever those other dolls are called that you can feed and you change their diaper and all that stuff. So I'm trying to, get past that. Or the only life-size ones I've ever seen are mannequins, and none of them look very realistic. I saw a movie when I was young about a young, a teenager age. When I saw a movie, it was a mannequin that came to life and fell in love or something like that. I don't really remember that much about it. I guess I'm gonna have to look it up. But it was fun, and it was romantic and all that stuff. But I don't know. But the more I dig into it, the more scary it kind of sounds. I mean, it's very, very, I don't know. It just seems very not natural. But after all the stuff that we've seen happen in the last couple of years with, the transgender and talking people into cutting off their genitals and trying to be an opposite sex and, just different stuff like that, it just seems like this, might be normal to a lot of people, thinking that it's normal, or even having their counselors or other people suggest that they get one of these because they're divorced, or they hate women now because they hate real women because they're they got a bad divorce or something. I don't know. I don't understand a lot of the reasons why anyone would want these, except for the few things that I've seen on these documentaries. And I'm telling you right now, some of these very expensive dolls have really, they're really eerie looking. But there is some naked parts that you're going to see, just the top half. But since my channel is for no children, so I'm not that worried about, and plus it's after 8 p.m. where I'm at. So I'm hoping that parents are making sure their children aren't watching this type of stuff. And the thing is, it's just pictures, you know what I mean? Basically of what you're going to see. They're not doing anything with the dolls or anything. They're just there. So, but it's for informative. I'm trying to teach some people about what it is and what's out there and what to look for, that type of thing. So the thing is that it's just it's kind of eerie, but not eerie, but it is eerie. But I'm just wanting to get people to understand, what's going on, and hopefully something good to come across. Somebody will find something interesting, or maybe to help you understand somebody that you're interested in that has a doll or something. I don't know. And it's nobody's business really what goes on behind closed doors in anyone's relationship. But if you are not, seeing anything like this, and then you start dating someone and you really start to like them, and this might prepare you for what you might end up finding out about somebody because you didn't know anything. But I was reading about it stuff. It said a new study compared doll owners to a sample of non-owners in relation to personality types, attachment styles, and offending risk. Few differences emerged, calling into question social beliefs about the nature and effects of a sex doll being owned, and what type of person would they definitely want to, owner of one of these hyper, realistic sex dolls. And they've been increasingly controversial says there's social issues over the last 5 to 10 years. And I know a lot of people supposedly started getting into the dolls after COVID, or during COVID, because there were so many people that were separated, people got divorced, somebody got the shot and the other one didn't, or people died from, COVID, or, the after effects of COVID and stuff. So there's a lot of reasons why people were getting into them. And there's a gentleman on this first thing that we're going to watch talking about why he has one. And he seems very confident in himself to talk about it. And he doesn't seem that it bothers him that anyone knows about it, which is good, I guess, because, if that's what he wants, he should have the right to do that. You know what I mean? It's just that I just want other people to know about it. And most of the things I looked up, it said, because I asked, is it wrong or is it a bad thing? Does it mentally make you mean you're mentally unstable if you have a relationship with a doll? And a lot of the websites that were medical said that they looked at it as health and wellness. So I don't know if that's true. That means somebody that's having mental problems, depression and things like that, and the doctor thinks it's because they're not getting enough sex or they don't have a relationship, they might even approve them and write them a prescription or something to be able to buy one of these dolls. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start this first thing so you guys can watch it. But please, if you have kids, don't let them watch, because this, it's about real dolls, that look, that are for pleasure. They're not dolls that you play with and play house. I guess you can play house, but you as a grown up. So I'm going to push play. So here you go. Hope it's good.
We're going all the way to the back. This is where Taffy lives. This way, step down. Don't bump your head. And this is my real doll, Taffy. I got her about 3 years ago, and we've been happy ever since. I gave the doll the name Taffy because I thought that sounded young and playful. I like that name. Have I given up on meeting somebody? Some days I have, and some days I haven't. I'll go out every evening to my favorite restaurant, and I'll just go by myself. About 1% of the time, I'll see some young couple there, or maybe an old couple, holding hands, obviously still very interested in each other. And I'll think, I wish that were me.
I'd like to think my personality is a bonus, not a reason to get a brainless sex doll with a removable vagina. You know what I mean?
As a public figure, I sometimes wonder how people see me. Like, do they see a human being with feelings and desires of her own? Or do they just see a sex object? Well, the way I see it, a sex object is someone else's fantasy, whereas a sex symbol creates the fantasy. Though, I wonder if people really distinguish between the two.
One more this way, please. Caroline,
I don't particularly find blonde hair, blue eyes, big boobs to be my favorite form of beauty. I love myself because I love myself.
Can a sex object love herself? A sex object can be perfect, though, like one of those dolls. But given the choice, do we want to be perfect or do we want to be real?
I got a great scan. It's pretty cool that it got all this.
So what if I came into you and asked you to make me perfect? What would you change?
I would start by telling you that that is not a question I entertain in my practice. She's the Quintessential beauty. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the guy who approaches that girl and makes a move, because she's incredibly intimidating and intense. It's measuring your breasts at 700 and 800 cc's. Your left bigger than your right.
What is bigger? I just can't remember.
Yeah, it's saying your left is bigger than your right.
Okay. Wow, it knows that.
Plastic surgery has lots of studies on ratios and measurements that relate to beauty. And then if you try to take some of our generation's most beautiful people, they don't tend to fit those ratios. Certainly there are a lot of people who put a lot of filler in their cheeks. See that? That's where you were.
And that's what people do.
A lot of what people consider beautiful is what they are shown images of every day. And unfortunately, a lot of what you're shown images of every day isn't actually real in nature. Beauty isn't defined by a ratio. There's an image to it, right? It isn't just a two-dimensional look on a magazine. When you talk to somebody in person, which is probably something we all ought to do more of, I think the definition of beauty changes.
What's fear-inducing about the doll is that it's the logical conclusion of the objectification of women. Where people think that dolls might actually, and bots might actually substitute for women, is where the fearfulness comes from. Like, when it comes to actually like getting the opportunity to have sex with a real woman, like, you will be disappointed and confused by all of her realism.
I need a mountain. Hand me that Mountain Dew. I spend most of my time alone, and I like to be alone. You know, my great personality conflict, and I admit this is a conflict, is that I love sex, but I don't like to be around other people. So that's kind of an issue. And so that's where the doll comes in.
Abyss Creations is working on integrating kind of rudimentary artificial intelligence into their dolls. Consumers can make the woman however they please. I mean, down to very, very minute details. It may be that we feel like we're living in the future because we have sex robots, but we're actually living in the past because this is something that people have been telling stories about and fantasizing about for at least 2,000 years, right? Back to this Greek myth of Pygmalion. And I actually think that it encapsulates really effectively something about like gendered sexuality, that the idea that women are animated by men's like interest in them and love for them. This is the fundamental like kernel of what is going on with dolls and robots, the man-made woman that he brings to life through like loving her or perhaps just having sex with her.
It amazes me that such a human-like doll can be created, that you can have sex with anytime you want, that looks so beautiful you can dress her however you want, put different wigs on her, she can be anything you want her to be.
Not only do you want a woman that's not real in that she doesn't really look like an average woman, you also want a woman that's not real in that she can't give consent or join agentically in the experience of sex. You know, she can never withhold consent, which is...
One of the things that I thought was very interesting about this when I first started watching it was the fact that all of the men in all the documentaries that I found, I think I watched like 6 different ones, and I had to rush through them because I didn't have really a lot of time, was the fact that they all look at women like they're perfect. You know, all of them had teeny tiny waists. You know, they were all like 5'6" or shorter, huge giant boobs, you know, they were just, they didn't have any scars. They didn't have, some of them you could put tattoos on them if you want. That's one of the things you could do. But I didn't really see a lot in any of the things that I saw that had a lot of tattoos. But most of them were blondes. It's like, for some reason, guys just want gaga blondes that are ditzy and dumb acting, you know, it's stupid, you know. But then I hear all these guys gripe that women like that only want one thing, your money, you know, and your wallet. So you'd think that all these men that feel like they've been burned would want a woman that looks normal, maybe not a blonde bimbo looking, that they could actually have some type of relationship with, especially when they talk about how they just want someone there for them, those things. That's what I thought was really weird that I took from it, because I always talk about meet a girl, get to know her, find someone that's interested in the same things you like, if you like video games, or if you like comic books, going to Comic Cons, golfing, going fishing, different things like that. You can meet women at hunting clubs, at bowling alleys. I mean, there's other places besides bars and strip bars, or on the corner down the road, to meet a real person that you could actually have a relationship with. And it's interesting when you listen to this woman, and she's a model. She does a lot of different things, and she's sexualized because she is gorgeous, right? She has people that come in and do her makeup and make sure her skin is, uses the best soaps and all that kind of stuff. So she has an edge over a lot of women. But when it comes time for her to fall in love, she's going to have a hard time, because you guys, the first thing they say is like, you're hot, you want to have sex, or you want to meet up or hook up and stuff like that. And it gets like, you just get tired of it. You get tired of hearing that's all that they're interested in. They don't even want to sit and have a conversation with you. They want to buy you a drink, and they think if they buy you a $300 dinner, well, guess what? You owe me, because I spent $300 on you. You're just a prostitute. And they treat you like that. And why not? When these guys, the ones who like these dolls, and there's some women that do buy the dolls. I have some statistics that I'm going to share with you in a little bit, but I'm going to get back to the thing. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but it's interesting. Here we go.
Something that real women ought to have the right to do.
Sex is an area where historically people have gotten their narcissistic needs met. Even if you're just a schlub, even if you're not particularly accomplished, you can go to bed with someone who loves you, and they'll, for a few moments, at least act as if you're the most wonderful and important person in the world. Traditionally, the only way you could get that kind of experience, of that intense validation, was in an intimate relationship. And you had to do the necessary work to get there.
I think that men don't think they have to do anything. I think they can text you what's up, or slide into your DMs and say you're hot, and then they think it's on.
They expect you to respond like a piece of technology.
Many years ago, when I was in my 20s, Huntington had two of the most wonderful escort services that there ever existed. And so having sex was always like easy. I never had to work much at it. If you meet some actual woman, you gotta go out with her 10 or 20 times, and you never know what's gonna happen. And it's a lot of work. Sometimes it's too much work. And I think that might be one of the reasons that I'm attracted to like the real dolls, because I don't have to work a lot at it.
This man's silicone piece of technology is there to do his bidding. And I just wonder what it feels like that someone has created a piece of technology like that, which is modeled after a woman who may not look too dissimilar to you, but who's so different in that way, and that she has no needs of her own. What defines a piece of technology is that it gives everything and it asks for nothing. Our cell phones, you touch their keys, they respond immediately. They're there for your pleasure. They greet you with bright lights, and they're there to do your bidding. The real threat to traditional intimate physical relationships may not really be from silicon technologies that may mimic sex itself, but from things that may replace the need for sex. The smartphone.
I didn't realize that I was getting validation from likes, followers. I mean, I have to check myself. I do see it as validation, and it's scary to think about that.
At the end of it, I really don't think anything is gonna replace real human love.
There's nothing like the closeness between two people. Can't be simulated.
We talk about the sex dolls, the sex bots, what we expect in the future. But I'm always brought back to an old quote by the psychologist Erich Fromm, who said that love is the only sane and satisfactory solution to the problem of human existence.
Very, very, very interesting. At least I thought it was interesting. It was interesting to me listening to a beautiful woman that, I mean, you look back a little bit in time and you remember it was Jessica, was it Jessica? I can't remember what her name was. Something Roberts, and she was in Pretty Woman. I can't remember what her first name is right this second. But she married Lyle Lovett. Okay. Yeah, he was rich. Yeah, and he could sing. But she was famous already. So she didn't have to marry somebody that was rich and famous. She already, Julia Roberts. Thank you very much for that answer. So, but the thing is, I see many, many women that are gorgeous women that marry guys that really aren't that attractive. They're not muscle bound, beach, hugging, giant, gorgeous men. I mean, the lead singer of the Cars, his wife, Rick Ocasek, right? His wife was a gorgeous model. Okay. David Bowie, his wife was just a knockout, So there's plenty of situations if you look, because they're famous. But I'm sure that if you looked in your own neighborhoods and stuff, you would meet many women that were very attractive that were married to guys that were just average looking guys, because women really don't care as much as men. Apparently, we want to look good. We want to smell nice. We want our skin to be soft. We want to be as feminine as we can, because we want to look feminine. We want to feel pretty, but we want our men, our man, to be proud to take us to dinner, to take us places. We want to be pretty for them. We want to look nice when they come home from work and have dinner ready, things like that. We want our houses to look good, clean, and, our dishes washed, so that when you come home, you can sit down, have a glass of tea and watch your favorite show or whatever, and eat a meal. But we do it because we want to make our man happy. A woman who wants a real relationship, that's what she's looking for. Okay. Now, if she just wants to hook up with you, like, swipe left, swipe right, like we've been talking about it quite a few times on some of the relationship shows I've had, well, sure. She's not looking for a man for a long-term relationship. But if you're a man and you want a woman for a long-term relationship, just don't, just be yourself. Because what hurts a woman, at least I know from my sisters and all my girlfriends, I can only go by what I've learned from them through my life, and that's it. And what I've been through myself. And what I can't stand is a guy that talks about himself constantly, constantly brags about themselves, about how much money they make, what kind of house they have, their trophy hanging on the wall, it's me, 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 me. And then immediately a woman's going to think, oh, he's a narcissist. I better get out of this because he's going to try to control me and I'm not going to have any friends. I'm not, all those things that you've heard from other people pop in your head. And you don't want to end up being a statistic. And we're not looking at, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not whatever, that type of thing. Now, if you're in a relationship and after a while with a narcissist, you start doubting yourself. You sound like, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not interesting enough. He doesn't like my job. He doesn't like, whatever it is. And because you're already in the relationship, you're trying to change yourself over and over again, just to fit in. It's different for everyone, but I was trying to give two different points of view. The woman's point of view that's very attractive. It looks like, one of the dolls could have been made to look like her, basically. I mean, heck, I know you can get supposed dolls that have female parts that are identical to some famous model because she sold them, kits or whatever, so that they could make dolls that look like her or whatever. But to me, I think it's weird. I mean, if you think about it, a guy that's with a doll and he's had them for a long time and he's got multiple dolls, he's looking for a girl that he's probably going to put something in her drink or so she's unconscious, because he hasn't had a person that's grabbing him and hugging him and kissing him and stuff like that. They just lay there. I mean, that's what Ted Bundy was into. It's creepy for me. I just can't even. If I went to a guy's house and he had a doll and he had it like this guy, he doesn't even have a decent outfit for it. It's all like, lingerie and nipple dresses and stuff like that. It's just, it's disgusting. And I don't know. It just creeps me out. I'd be creeped out. I would say, I'm sorry, this is not what I'm looking for. If I could leave the house, see, I'd be petrified that he wasn't even going to let me leave after a situation like that. So I don't know. I just think it's really creepy, and it's scary to think that we actually have lots of people that are in this situation. But I have this other, here it is, the statistics for this kind of relationship, and I'm going to pull that up next. So just give me a second. Let me get this set up here, because I want to share it with you. I think it's interesting when I started reading about it. Let's see, where is it? Here they are. Okay. I just thought this was interesting because I really wanted to know how much money these companies must make. A lot of money. And, I was just interested in all of it. But here it is. Okay. It's the Statistics and Market Industry Report. I'm going to get the link for this and I'll share it in the chat because I think somebody else might want to share it. It says the sex dolls have become increasingly popular over recent years, in sync on how sex toy market has expanded. Okay. And I'm not saying it's creepy because, it's where you have sex with it, because the guys were always saying, oh, women use dildos and blah, blah, blah. It's totally different to do something that takes a couple minutes and then having a being that lays in bed with you and stuff. Now, there are women that do make some of these dolls for women. So I haven't really seen one. I haven't seen a documentary with a woman with the actual doll yet, like this. But, they do have them. It says in this study that they purchased data from 8 of the biggest sex dolls retailers and production data from 3 of the biggest manufacturers. They additionally ran a survey on more than 8,000 people and used online tools to figure out the online interest in sex dolls. It says sex doll sales and how many own a sex doll usage and consumer behavior. Why do people buy sex dolls? Competitive landscaping, market potential, sex doll trends. Is there a future for sex dolls? And fun facts. Those are some of the things that they wanted to find out about when they did the study. It says their takeaways were 9.7% of American men have a sex doll. That's not a huge amount, but it's still quite a few, more than I was expecting. 6.1 of American women have a sex doll. And that's not saying whether they're male or female. Okay. So, because men can buy male dolls too. But also women can buy female dolls. It says the global market for sex dolls is worth $3.2 billion. Wow. That's a lot of money. The U.S. market for sex dolls is worth $1.2 billion. Sex doll market is expected to increase with a 7 to 9% CAGR by 2020 or 2030. So I don't know what that means. I guess it's something to do with, like the stock market or something. It says the average sex doll owner is a male aged 30 to 50 years old. China is the country that produces most sex dolls. Well, of course, that's where they all seem to come from, or everything is made, seems like. 1 out of 10 people do not use the sex doll they have bought. And it says 65% of people who have a sex doll use it regularly, a minimum 1 time a month. 7 out of 10 people who bought a sex doll did not talk with their partner before they bought it. So people were buying these dolls when they had another person in their home already. I think that's, I don't know, if my man wasn't touching me or wanting to have anything to do with me and he brings home a doll, that would be it. I don't think I could stay in a relationship with someone who would do that to me. I don't know. It's just weird. But it says 47.6% of sex doll owners use the doll to foreplay. So I don't know what that means. Most women, that's what they want. Foreplay, and they can't seem to get it. It says the 3 biggest sex doll websites are Joy Love Dolls, Real Doll, and that's the only one I've ever heard of, SiliconeWives.com. There are 130,000 monthly searches on Google for sex dolls, and in the United States alone. There are 201,000 searches for dildo and dildos. So there are definitely more women, I guess, searching for, or men, both sexes look for that kind of stuff too. But there's more people still searching for those than they do for the dolls. But the dolls are like, some of them are like $6,000. So some of them are very expensive, depending on, what all you want for your doll. It says the first recorded commercial sex doll was created in the 17th century. Wow. By Dutch sailors. I didn't even know that. That's interesting. Sex doll sales and how many own a sex doll. Okay, 9.7% of American men over 18 have bought and own a sex doll. I wonder if that includes blow-up dolls. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't think that. To me, I always thought blow-up dolls were like a novelty thing that I've blown them up for, bachelorette parties and stuff like that for fun. And we'd have them sitting around, in chairs with drinks. Yeah, I don't know. It was stupid, but it was fun. But it was funny, not, I don't know. Maybe my mother would have thought it was perverted, but I think she'd think these other dolls were a lot worse than that. But it's just, I'm sorry. I'm not reading the chat or anything because I'm on the opposite page and I'm not reading it, but it's just flabbergasting to me in a way. It says that $2.8 billion worth of sex dolls are sold annually. Oh my God. Making up 8% of the total $40.6 billion annual sex toy industry. Because see, I can understand a little bit because they are so expensive. They're very, very expensive. The global market for sex dolls has been experiencing steady growth. And I'm sure that COVID, man, it just made it a huge bang. You know what I mean? Especially people that were on the swipe left, swipe right, things on their phone so that they wouldn't have to get COVID or being afraid of getting sick or whatever. It said the demand for sex dolls is notably high in regions like North America, Europe, and parts of Asia. China was a major producer with several leading manufacturers located there. Wow, I can believe that too. The majority of sex doll consumers were reported to be male, typically ranging from age of 30 to the 50s. Yeah, I already read all that stuff. But here you go. Look at the difference. Sex toys is yellow, and sex dolls is the bluish color. And from 2016, it shows you the difference in the toys compared to the dolls. And then now it says by 2030 that this will be the difference. But this is how much money, the market wise. The thing is that they're selling an awful lot of these supposedly toys. But if you've ever been to, I've been to a couple places like Condom Sense, where they sell like novelty gag gifts and stuff. Every Christmas I used to go and get stuff like that, and because I have 4 sisters, and I'd buy, goofy stuff and give them a stocking with some funny, stupid stuff in it. But and then there's like Spencer's Gifts at the malls. I mean, there's lots of little places like that sell, but they sell all this other stuff too. Then you can go to these big stores, and because I got online and looked at some of these, so now people are gonna, if they look me up online, they're gonna think I'm into all this stuff. But they had like swings and special pillows that you can use. I mean, I couldn't believe how much stuff they had. It was amazing to me how much stuff they had in there. But let me look at some of the chat real quick as I go through this. I don't know where I gotta go. Okay, I think I read some of this stuff already. All right, yeah, he didn't want to work for it. Yeah, and that's sad because I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of guys say it's too much work. I have to take them out to dinner. You have to do this. Well, why do you have to take them to dinner? Have you ever just thought, hey, let's go for a walk in the park, or let's go fishing, or let's go on a hike where you can actually talk to each other instead of sitting looking across each other, talking and being afraid you're going to have something stuck in your teeth or whatever. And maybe do a date where you both pay for your own way. That way you don't feel like you owe anyone anything. And then I had a couple guys say, oh, a first date will definitely be to a water park because I want to see her in her bathing suit. Well, guess what? She gets to see you in your bathing suit too. So you just remember that. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny. But let's see. I don't think they'll let you rent a doll. I think that's what they were talking about this right here. I don't think they'll let you rent it because once you use it, it's been, you can't return it. It's got to be, you got to buy the stuff to clean it and do all that stuff. So it's like, would you want to go to a store and buy a used any other toy? I wouldn't. Yeah, I think it's disgusting. But who knows? People are into. Let's see. Banging AI, not clankers. I don't know what that means, but whatever. But yeah. Where's your future? I don't know. We're not in whatever that movie, Blade Runner yet. We haven't gotten to that level of stuff, but I think one day they will. I really do. One of the first sci-fi movies I ever saw that actually had talked about sex, and people being able to like pick a partner and all that stuff. It was a VHS tape that my dad had. Two of my sisters and I watched it. We were like, what is going on in this? And it was called Logan's Run or something like that. I thought it was pretty good. I really like sci-fi movies, but it was pretty good. But it had a lot of, sexy stuff in it like that. I thought in that movie, I remember watching it and it was kind of naughty, some of the stuff, and the clothes were cool and all that stuff. But we were thinking that they would have robots, at that time. To take care of you, cook and grow food or whatever. So I remember watching that on VHS that my dad had. He still has, I think he has a beta player, one of those ones that plays the giant discs. There were huge discs like that they were really weird, like giant CDs, but they're really giant. And he still has a reel-to-reel movie projector. He's got all kinds of stuff. It just seemed like my dad had everything. VHS tapes. He's got it all. He's got everything. But he was really into movies and things like that. But that's a lot of money. I didn't realize it. But when you pay $6,000 a doll I'm sure they have other parts and stuff. But just like I said, you can go look at the other websites and stuff. There's some really interesting stuff on there. But what creeped me out the most was some of them look so young. I mean, they have, I don't know if they have young boys, that you could, I don't know. I just have no idea. I didn't really dig into it that way. But we did that movie. Hi, Six Nations. We did that movie. Hell Comes to Frogtown. I'd never seen it before until I got to watch it with Bruce, and it was just really, really funny and quirky and goofy, you know. But it was a movie, you know. I don't know. It was creepy, but it was just a movie. So it's not a lifestyle on every day that someone lives through, at least not that I know of. I mean, we're finding out about some really weird, weird people, it seems like. But yeah, there's a lot of, it just seems really weird stuff going on. That if you dig around, you can find some really weird fetishes. There are so many weird things going on. But back when we first started, Bruce and I first started doing the movie reviews, this was one of the movies that I picked for us to do a review on. And it wasn't because, that he had a real doll, because this is a movie, it's called Lars and the Real Girl. And it was a movie that I had seen with some friends of mine, and I thought it was really, really good. It was a really good, heartwarming movie to me. Bruce laughed and he didn't like it. I mean, but he watched it, but he didn't give it a good review or anything. But the whole thing was on a mental psychosis, basically. He had a mental breakdown, and he was calling this doll his girlfriend and stuff. But I'm going to play the trailer without any sound because I got the captions on, but I just want you to watch it. It's pretty interesting because this is how, after I'd already seen this movie many, many years ago when it came out. It came out in 2007, and I'd seen it, and I felt sorry for this guy because his mother died giving birth to him, and his father became an alcoholic and blamed him for his wife dying, basically. So he's living in the garage apartment of the house they grew up in, and his older brother lives in the house with his new wife, and she's about to have a baby, and he snaps. He has a psychosis because he thinks she's going to die when she has the baby, and he cares about her, and he's having a hard time dealing with it because he's already very introverted and stuff at the time. It's Ryan Gosling is playing this character, but what it is, it's about his church members and other people in his community that watched him grow up since his, and knew his mother, things like that, and they all get together and try to help him get better when he has this mental snap, and he gets this doll, and he tells everyone it's his girlfriend, and it's just to me it was really, really inspiring of how family and friends can help somebody through problems in their life. That's what it was, a mental movie about mental breaks. And when all this crazy stuff started happening with the transgender and cutting up kids, Frankenstein surgeries and all that kind of stuff, it was heartbreaking to me because people should have been helping those kids figure out who they really are instead of saying, oh yeah, you can cut yourself all up and never have kids for the rest of your life. I just thought it was heartbreaking. But I want to share this trailer because it's funny, but it's sad in the same and heartwarming, and it's all about helping this young man through a psychosis to where he can get back to realizing that he can have a real relationship one day, and that his mother died and it wasn't his fault. That was just what happens sometimes when people have babies. And he didn't get to learn that because his father was an alcoholic. It's just really, really, it's a really good movie. I really loved this movie. But here we go. Sorry, I don't want to get a copyright strike. So I'm not going to let it play any sounds or anything. But basically, that's the young man that snaps, and his sister-in-law. She's about to have a baby. And this is his brother, the actors that are playing these characters. So there she is. He shows up and he's got this doll that he ordered off the internet, and he's pushing her around in a wheelchair, and he says that she's handicapped and that she travels and she helps children, and he's got this whole scenario that he read off her bio when he purchased her, and she's wearing seductive outfit, and it's just adorable because they go buy her clothes. Not these people, but the brother thinks he's nuts. His brother needs to go to an insane asylum or whatever. But the sister and other people get together, and they her name's Bianca or whatever is what he named her, and they take her and tell him that they got her a job and that they're going to drive her back and forth to work, and she needs new clothes and all this stuff to like she's a real girl. And that's why it's called Lars and the Real Girl, is that they all help him through this psychosis of believing she's real. And then eventually he realizes that she dies, basically. And then he's able to move on and date a real girl that he meets at work and actually have a real relationship. But I wanted you to see this because it's a good movie. If you want to watch a movie about mental illness, which is what it would be to want to marry a doll. And I have watched a few documentaries about men in other countries and stuff that have married their sex doll or whatever. And I just wanted to share this with you because this is a really cute movie. And, this is what she does. She donates her time and reads books to kids at school and stuff like that, because this woman was friends with his mother and wants to help him. And I just loved it because I thought it was so great to see all these people come together to help this young man get over his psychosis that he went through. And that was back when they made this movie. Psychiatrists were the ones that would diagnose people with problems, not school counselors. So they do now, apparently. They tell kids that they're not, normal and they need to change their genders or whatever. But I just wanted to share that with you because that came into my mind when I was watching some of this other stuff. But here's something else I found. I thought it was pretty interesting. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let me see. Hold on.
Okay, last question.
Yeah, okay.
You want everything to who's some of the best actresses of all time for you? Is it you? Do you ever think of yourself as being one of those?
I don't guess this is the one. Darn it. I'm sorry. Let me get rid of this one. Sorry. God, I still cannot figure this out. I don't know how people do this stuff. But, if I was ever a big channel, I'd have someone else show me how to do this stuff. Or someone else would do it for me. See, I think it's this one. Oh, here it is. I'm so sorry. God. Okay, this is called Silicone Sex, Men Who Love Dolls. And I just thought this was pretty weird. But this is on YouTube itself, so you can watch it on there. And I will copy the thing here so I can share it in the chat. Because I'm hoping I don't get a strike, because I am trying to do this as a way to let people see what's out there and what's going on, and I'm giving them credit because I'm not monetized, but I think it's important that as many people that can see this stuff to understand that we do have a mental issue going on in our country and in the world, basically, because I think a lot of these people are in other countries. They're not all in America. So I'll go ahead and start this real quick. Just give me a second.
I know that Sarah is manufactured from steel and TPE plastic, but when I look at her, I see something more than the sum of her parts. I've gone from sharing experiences with a real girlfriend to sharing experiences with a synthetic one. I guess I'm creating a synthetic family.
Dean Bevan is 58 years old and single, but he doesn't live alone.
Morning, ladies. Morning, Sarah.
He starts every day with a cup of coffee and the morning news, and his constant companion, Sarah, a lifelike sex doll made from TPE, a polymer similar to silicon.
I'd been divorced for over 10 years. My children were spending longer periods away from the home. I'm a fairly independent person, but I did miss the companionship of being in a relationship.
If things do go wrong, we are prepared.
The idea to acquire a doll came to Dean 2 years ago.
People will be able to get the medicines that they need, and so
I started doing some research, and then I found a vendor in the UK, placed an order for Sarah, and she came about 2 months later.
when you look at
And when I opened the box, I was completely surprised at how realistic she looked. And so I sat her downstairs with me, and after a few days, my brain was being fooled into thinking there was somebody there. And I thought, oh, I quite like this, actually.
Sarah was just the beginning. Today, Dean shares his house with a total of 7 dolls.
Sophia was my second doll.
Okay, I'm going to go back to this again. The first doll he picked had the same thing. Hourglass shape, huge knockers, small little waist, blonde hair, and giant pouty lips like this. It's like, I don't understand why they think that's beautiful. Why? What is that? I mean, I get a skinny upper lip. I absolutely hate it, but I'm not going to go get a lip looking like this just so I can have a lip that I think is prettier than one I have. And plus it's expensive, and it's, to me, you could get, I don't know, they could hurt you by injecting stuff in the wrong place or whatever. It's a risk. But the fact that they get these dolls that aren't even realistic, I mean, I'm not talking about their features exactly on their face, but their body shapes. I just don't get it. I don't understand why. I don't know. Maybe if they made dolls like this, then different shapes and sizes, it wouldn't be so pornographic or whatever. I don't know what the word is, unnatural, because none of them look natural. They're all, I mean, I look like I look because I work out every other day. I starve myself, I hardly eat any cakes or anything. Plus I have gluten intolerance. That makes it easier too for that part of it. I eat more fruits and vegetables, but it's, and I don't smoke and I don't drink a lot and I don't pop pills. So that's another reason why, I'm healthier than someone else might not be, but I'm real, I'm a real person. So I'm going to go back to it again. So here we go.
He arrived in January of last year. I was particularly taken by her look. I mean, she can look quite melancholic or thoughtful. I thought she was quite different to Sarah. This is Sherry O'Hara. She's the only doll that's got 2 names. I thought, I need some diversity. I need some different ethnic groups in my doll collection. And this was the most African-looking head that I could find. Athena thinks she's the queen because she's a very pretty girl, but Sarah's the queen. So I have to keep reminding her of that.
Sex dolls like Dean's are manufactured in China and sold in Europe by an array of wholesalers. In Germany, one of the biggest distributors is headquartered at the edge of the Harz Mountains.
I want to pause it for a second. again. Sorry. Yeah, it is kind of twisted, isn't it? But did you guys know anything about some of this stuff and why a person would want to have any of you in the chat ever met someone who has one? And I'm not talking about a blow up doll, you know, one that you'd blow up and have at parties or whatever. I mean, I even had a friend that blew up like 7 of them with helium and had them on, you know, fishing line and stuff, because it was fun and it was funny, and it, you know, I'm all for having a good laugh, but to me this isn't therapy. This isn't helping these people. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see how it's helping somebody get past something or achieve a better life because of this. I don't know. I've watched a couple of these and it still doesn't click. Now, no, I don't think that, but I remember I watched a documentary with, it was, I can't remember the detective's name, but it was for the FBI, and he was trying to find the Green River Killer. And they had went to Florida because Ted Bundy was on death row. And remember, he was up in that area where the Green River Killer was when he first started killing people that they know of, Ted Bundy. So they thought they would ask him questions, and he asked him, you know, what do you think we could do to capture this guy? And Ted Bundy said, if you find a fresh body, stake it out. He'll go back to the body. Because Ted Bundy went back to their bodies over and over again, and he would put makeup on them and brush their hair and have sex with them, even though they were starting to rot and their skin would slough off their body and stuff. Okay, so he was a sick son of a bitch himself, Ted Bundy. And actually what he said would probably have caught the Green River Killer very quickly. And another thing about the Green River Killer was that they had, like, I think 5 or 6 detectives all working on that case at different times, because that was a really a sick case too. But they're all pussies. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to get the death penalty. They all beg, oh, I'll tell you where more bodies are. Just don't kill me. You know, oh, it's just sickening. They're all sickening. But the Green River Killer, they were asking him after they caught him finally and asked him why he was putting rocks in the women's vaginas. Because when they found a bunch of the women, they were submerged in small little areas in the side of the banks of a river. And some of them were still on the bank, but most of them he tried to, the fresher ones, I guess, he put in the water, and then he put rocks on top of them to hold them down in the water. And when they asked him that, why he put them in there like that, and he said, and they go, is it a ritual, you know, a devil ritual? And he said, no. He said, I did it so other people wouldn't have sex with them. So they're not normal thinking people, you know, to begin with, because they're willing to take another person's life in a sadistic way. How can you possibly believe they're normal? And these people, like, they'd had sex with them after they were dead, and that's called necrophilia. So a person that wants someone who just lays there has something. I don't know what it is. They'd have to go to a psychiatrist, but now we have psychiatrists telling these people that that this is for health and wellness. You can look this up on medical websites, and I was looking that up, and I was like shocked that we're having people told that. And we have other people in you know, like senators and state representatives that are saying stuff like that we should get these dolls for people in prison. It's like, you got to be kidding. We're going to be paying for these dolls now for their health and wellness. We've got to know about this stuff so that we can try to stop it before it happens in our states. I don't want to pay for this shit. There's no freaking way. They're supposed to be in prison. They're supposed to be punished. Now we're going to put them in these places and make this kind of stuff available to them? No, I don't think so. And then they're going to say, well, we have to have the right racial colors for them. And if they're a pedophile, they want kids, we should get smaller dolls. You know, it's going to be sick. We can't let these people make this into some kind of therapy, because I don't think this is therapy. I think this is could be making things worse. Because remember, this has only been getting more and more popular in the last, 5 or 6 years or so, is what some of the things that I was doing. They did have them years and years ago. It's like I said, but it's gotten to be bigger and bigger, I guess, since right before COVID or during COVID or whatever, it seems like. So, but I just think that we really need to be paying attention to things like this, because this could lead, to me, I think it can lead to more severe, I don't know. I hate to think about it, but I can't help it. My head goes that way because I am a mother. I have family.
Manfred Scholand sells about 2,000 dolls a year. His customers are almost exclusively men. Most dolls cost between 1 and 2,000 euros.
So this one still needs brown eyes.
Eye and skin color, head and pubic hair, or types of fingernails. Customers can configure their doll according to taste. The selection is big, with about 100 different body shapes to choose from.
We carry models that deviate from the classic measurements of 90, 60, 90 centimeters. There are different sizes, types of material, skin color, and body types. Muscular. This one is the model Next Door Neighbor. It's intentionally designed to be different to the ideal 90, 60, 90 phenomenon with some tummy. There are different weights, starting at 25 kilos, and the sky's the limit when it comes to customization. We cater to customers' tastes. This one, for example, has generous hips and thighs and weighs a good 45 kilos. A model like this weighs around 27 kilos. And these here are around 32 to 35 kilos.
In this game of mix and match, customers can choose from a selection of 100 bodies and 300 heads.
These heads have very individualized, hand-painted, permanent makeup. Diana here is one of our best-selling heads. It represents an ideal, a perfect natural woman. It has something very natural about it. It's not intimidating for men. You don't have to prove anything to a lifelike love doll. There's no pressure on the man who uses it like a consumer product whenever he needs it. Customers want to watch a match, drink a beer, and then have sex.
Scholand says men order sex dolls for different reasons. Many can't find a partner in life because they're insecure, too shy, or physically disabled. Others don't want the commitment. And then there are those who have been unlucky in love. Whatever the reason, the doll substitutes a human partner.
There are certain human attributes that I projected onto her. The key one is clearly vulnerability, because she is completely vulnerable. She relies on me to do everything, move her around, to dress her, to clean her, to maintain her. Yeah. That's hot.
Dean regularly changes his doll's outfits. Their wardrobe is now larger than his own.
Right. Probably got maybe 20 dresses or so. Okay. Lots of pairs of leggings, lots of underwear, That's different bras.
You guys see that in that closet? It looked like a Star Trek uniform. Oh, I'm heartbroken. Oh.
I think when I had the real girlfriends, I always used to enjoy buying them clothes. And oh yeah, right. This is Sarah's favourite dress. It fits her like a glove. It really does look good on her, and it's an older sort of 50s style, I guess. Just put my hand in the cardigan, and I'm just holding her hand while I pull the cardigan over, so I don't bend her fingers back. This is what I used to do at work with patients as well.
Dean retired early from his job as a psychiatric nurse in 2013. He says he missed feeling needed. But that's not the only reason Sarah moved in. Dean also has an intimate relationship with her.
Twisted very easily. Yeah, what is love? I think for men, quite often, it's physical. So we're pre-programmed biologically to respond to certain things. So I respond to her face. I chose her face because I found it attractive. A couple of times she's been in dreams of mine, and I thought she was real. But then after obviously a few minutes, you wake up and you realise, oh, that was just a dream. And then I must admit, occasionally I felt a bit sad, really, because I thought, oh, that was nice.
To date, Dean has never been out in public with his dolls, but that's set to change very soon. When Dean isn't at home spending time with his girls, as he calls them, he's mostly out alone.
And see, that's another thing that's sad. If you have a problem and you're getting therapy for it, you're trying to overcome whatever it is the problem is, you don't go out by yourself. See, if maybe he could go out and find a woman that likes to kayak. See, go to some of these clubs that they have and meet people and see what they want to do. If you don't make effort, you're never going to find anyone. I know a lot of people that've been alone for many years, and then after they, 8 years or whatever, they meet someone and say, wow, it was just like that. I don't know why, it took that long, but, it just takes a while sometimes, especially if you're working on yourself as you're going along, basically. But to me, it seems like, well, he doesn't feel like he has to because he already has what he needs. That's all he cares about. Just like we saw on the other gentleman who said it's too much work. I have to take her out on dates, and I got to cater to her needs, and I got to do this and that. So I guess it's not worth it to him. It's not worth it to put something into the relationship, to meet somebody, try to find out what their interests are, find out if she's interested in sitting and playing cards or solitaire or 42 dominoes or, some other games, video games, Halo together, some other game, go fishing, kayaking. I love doing all those things, or go hunting, together. I don't know. It's just sad because he's spending all of the other time by himself because it's too hard for him to go in public and put his doll in his boat with him. See, because that's the one person as of right now that fulfills his fantasy fake relationship, because she can't talk to him. Just like you said, he's having dreams that she's in it and they seem real, but then he wakes up and he realizes that she's not. He can make her voice sound like whatever he wants and stuff. And to me, that's so sad, because he's given up on a real person that he might be really happy with, that might even live right down the street, that doesn't know anything about him because he hasn't made a single effort to find anyone else, and because he's given up. And that's sad. It's really sad to me. It's heartbreaking, but it's his choice. He's a grown adult.
When I'm out on my kayak, often I'm on my own, and all I can hear is the sound of the birds. I don't feel the need to be with other people. I'm comfortable in my own skin, really, I guess. Oh. I'm aware of the fact that I can appear to be antisocial in the things I do, but in as much that I don't seek out activities that involve other people.
For Dean, love didn't last. After 3 years of marriage, the mother of his 2 children filed for divorce. He had 3 more relationships, but they all ended, and he's all but given up hope of finding his soulmate.
I have had people say to me, don't you get lonely? Why don't you give up what you're doing and just have a normal relationship? But I don't feel the need to do that. I really don't. I think it's partly getting older, and I'll be 60 in 2 years. Well, I haven't had a romantic relationship for about 3 years, so I don't know, I forget what it's like now. It's been so long.
The number of single households in Europe is growing. 1 in 3 adults lives alone. In Britain, that applies to 1.3 million men in Dean's age group. Worldwide, realistic synthetic dolls have opened up new business opportunities in the sex industry.
Doll, hallo? Ja. Ja, das wäre super, genau. Vorher gucken, welche
It's best to book the doll you want ahead of your visit so it isn't already taken. Then book a time when we have availability and you're good to go.
kannst du gerne Spaß haben.
Evelyn Schwartz opened Germany's first sex doll brothel in 2017.
God. I can't believe it.
Hier befinden wir uns jetzt in der Lounge.
This is the lounge where customers arrive. These are 4 of our sex dolls, out of a total of 13.
Von aktuell 13.
This, for example, is the model Liz. It's very popular because of its large bust and backside.
Warum sehr gut bestückt ist.
But the next customer has opted for Estelle. Like all the dolls here, it costs 80 euros per hour. The brothel is well frequented. Up to a dozen men book rooms here every day. Why do they resort to dolls to meet their sexual needs?
Es geht ja ihre Fantasie.
They come to fulfill their fantasies, their desires. There are certain advantages. They don't have to worry about another person's emotions. And there's no pressure to perform, like, I have to satisfy her to get my own satisfaction.
Ich muss sie jetzt befriedigen, damit ich meine Befriedigung erreiche. Ja, Emotionalität.
Emotional engagement always involves effort in the act of giving. But people are takers.
Leute nehmen lieber. So, jetzt hat's
So that's the
geklingelt.
doorbell. If it's not a delivery, then it's probably a customer, and I'd ask you to disappear discreetly behind the door.
The customer is booked an hour. We're not allowed to follow him in with our cameras.
Interesting.
In Ipswich, Dean's daughter Rhiannon is coming for a visit. She's 19 and a university student. She's known about her father's synthetic roommates for 18 months.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Not too bad. Come in, come in. Oh, by the way, you haven't met the new girl yet? Have a guess, here she is. This is Astrid. Ah, You've got to go for the nose. I mean, you don't do anything. Oh, good lord.
She's softer. Yeah.
She's the latest TPE material, so she will feel softer. And her nose is a little bit squidgy, yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Every time I get a new one, you can feel the materials just improve that much more. It's so, I mean, it's very, very human skin feel to it.
It all started when he started putting pictures around the house, and I started noticing, and I just kept it to myself because I think I knew what they were. And then I went ring around his room and I saw these wigs and what's going on? Part of me hoped he was dressing up himself, not the dolls. So I'm not gonna lie, my brother and I were really negative about it. We didn't like them. I didn't like them at all. I found it creepy. I found it a bit misogynistic as well. This isn't something you ever think your dad's gonna do. You don't want to be the person whose dad does this.
There's no guarantee.
Dean gave in to his children's demands and removed the pictures.
I've been at work all day, so I'd like to sit
And he
down.
hid the dolls in his bedroom.
Are you ready for a beer yet?
Yeah, definitely. But I think after a while I just stopped being angry. I thought less about how it makes me feel, and I felt quite bad. It's probably not going to make him feel any better if he has to hide this aspect of himself that makes him really happy.
Yeah, pumpkin. Here's a beer. Yakida. It's nice, isn't it?
Rhiannon's younger brother still hasn't come to terms with their father's penchant for dolls. He will only visit if they're removed from the living room.
Well, by watching this and his interaction with his daughter, he can definitely have a conversation, and he seems happy to see his daughter and to talk to her and have a drink with her and stuff. And he's speaking and talking to the person and the people that are in there now doing this documentary. So he is capable of having a normal relationship with a person he's just talking to, like at a store or whatever else. So it's sad that he is not letting himself, see what might happen, because he's not putting himself in a position to where he can meet anyone in that position. You know what I mean? And that's sad, because he's shutting himself off from that aspect. And the fact that he's letting his daughter be there, you know what I mean? And see that the dolls and stuff, just like what she said about the wigs and stuff. She was really hoping that her dad was wearing them and stuff himself instead of putting them on a doll. See, to her, him dressing up as a woman was more normal than dressing up a doll. That's heartbreaking for me. It's almost choking me up right now just thinking about it. It's heartbreaking.
But he too has begun making concessions.
Pictures then.
Oh, that's just, I've been putting some more in. Yeah. I was really pleased when he said, "Oh, Dad, you can, put your pictures
I
up."
couldn't believe that.
But neither could your mother. She said, "Oh, have you been persuading him?" I said, "I didn't
Said that
mention
to
it."
me as well.
No, I can understand, because it's just an alien thing for your mum.
This woman was explaining to them.
The family is divided on Dean's dolls. His ex-wife, sister, and son think he's got a problem. His mother and daughter try to show solidarity.
Please make me redundant.
Simplistically, I hope he just continues being happy, but if it was my choice, I'd quite like for him to find someone, settle down, be in a committed relationship with them.
I think if I was in a relationship now, it would irritate me because it would get in the way. But no, you don't want to hear that. I keep saying I'm not giving up, and every time I go kayaking, I'm looking for potential partners, I promise you. I got into that position, and I actually did, I begged them.
For some reason. I think because they're more chatty. I always knew he was lonely. I thought, why didn't he get a pet? Even take a course or something, go to college and take a night course or something, go back to work. That was always an option.
That's too far.
Get a new job, but...
Oh, no, don't use the J word.
But...
I've got a job. I'm a doll photographer.
Oh, God.
I thought I'd just show you some recent pictures I've done. See what you think. Be honest. Don't pull your punches. said you like that one.
I did.
Because I did like that one. It's looking over the rim of the glasses.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I'll try to remember that next time. Good, because if you look carefully at the white, you'll see little red Enterprise picture. It's always a good background, actually.
She really needs a bra, or a better one.
She got a bra on.
But you can see her nipples.
Well, it was cold that day. It's not.
The thing is his daughter loves her dad. You know, I love my daddy, and I would want to do everything I could to make him happy. And if he did things I didn't agree with, I would just say, Daddy, I don't really like it, but I wouldn't yell and scream at him and never want to go see him again. He's still my daddy, no matter what. Just like, you know, a person that might be in a mental institution or in a prison, you don't stop loving them. Even if your child ends up going to prison for murder or something, you don't stop loving them. You always love them. And especially a mother who was there, you know, to change their diapers and got up, you know, 6 times a night or whatever. You don't lose that. It doesn't just go away because your child is, you know, in prison or sick or, you know, whatever it is. You want to do the best you can to help them because you love them. And most people who do love their kids or their sister, brother, mother, dad, whoever, you're going to do everything you can to try to help them, even if it's a bizarre thing. Now, I do have limits that if, you know, someone I love, my family members or whatever, hurt someone or whatever, I would do everything in my power to make sure that they turn themselves in because I do believe in, you know, laws. And I do believe that if it's hurting someone else, then, you know, you can't let them do that either. But this is definitely sad to me that this gentleman is basically in his mind now. He's rather just have these dolls. It's way easier lifestyle for him, and he gets to fulfill his need to you know, talk to them and control every aspect of their life, basically, because he has to care for them. Like he said, he has to bathe them and clean them up and fix their hair and dress them and go shopping and buy them stuff. And when he's out at the store buying stuff, the people he's at the store with picking things out, they don't know that he's buying it to take home to a doll, makeup or whatever it is. He's buying perfume, whatever. They think he's a really nice guy. He's always in here spending lots of money on whoever it is, that his special woman or whatever, you know, at home. So, you know, they're not going to know until, if ever, he does find somebody that he just goes, oh, he meets them or whatever, and pitter patter happens, and he decides that he's ready to, you know, take the jump. You know, until that time, I don't see it getting any better for him. I really don't. He's just distancing himself more and more, especially one day his children are going to have their own children. Are they going to want to bring their children over to grandpa's house that has all these naughty dolls all over the house? I don't think so. That's where I would stop. I'd say, I'm sorry, I'm not bringing the kids over. You know, you can come to the house and see them and stuff like that, but we're never going to come over here if they're here, you know, if they're out where they can see them or find them, because kids are very good at opening doors and drawers and under beds, you know, all those things. I wouldn't want my my small child to you know, find one of these things and start asking questions, because then that would be opening doors for your kids to see things that they shouldn't see. It's there, you know, a mind is only supposed to have so much put into it at a certain age. You know, it's just like exposing a child to things that they shouldn't be exposed to is, you know, child abuse. That's what I believe. So I don't know. I just really have a hard time with it. I think it's really sad, but I hope all I want is the best.
Not as hot as it is today.
To help
Put too much boob in that one.
Yeah, I know. I was just.
Oh my god, it looks so unrealistic.
I know.
I was coming up from a very feminist standpoint. I thought some of the pictures were quite revealing. You know, I thought there's so much cleavage. When you think about dolls, you think sexual connotations. still look at them and think of it, ugh. Yeah, that's the natural.
I do listen to Rihanna's reaction on this because I am conscious that what I do could be seen to be objectifying women. So I've said this before. But, you know, sometimes I might take it a little bit too far.
With some men, they are getting them to replace real women because they don't want to deal with having to ask a woman permission, so they'd rather just get a doll and that be their interaction with women. That I would judge them a bit.
That's a good point, actually, because it could actually have a negative effect.
At the doll brothel in Dortmund, the customer has left and it's time for the cleaner to take over.
After the customer has used the doll, I need to inspect it and see how he used it and what I need to do to clean it up. Whether I need to shower it off or if just wiping it down with a cleaning agent and disinfectant will do. This customer appears to have been gentle on the doll. Naturally, there are customers who indulge in their fantasies, and then you find a doll that kind of needs to be untangled. Sometimes they're totally bent out of shape in a position where I'm just like, okay. I'm totally unfazed. I don't know how else to put it. It's just body fluids. I have my gloves on. I'm protected. It's totally normal for me. I'd find it far more disgusting to be washing dishes in a restaurant.
Andrea doesn't share the concerns of critics who say sex dolls dehumanize and objectify.
The sad thing is the thought that somebody's coming in and using this doll after somebody else used it. Oh, just the thought of it's disgusting, but oh well. I don't know what to say about it.
By women. She says many customers simply have hang-ups.
A customer once said to me, I'd rather go to a real woman, but she would see me, and I don't know whether he was disfigured or what. But he said, she'd see me, and I'm afraid to show myself.
After 45 minutes, Estelle is back in service. Sex dolls are a burgeoning business. The brothel in Dortmund is one of several in Europe, including Barcelona, which was the first in Europe, Paris, Brussels, Turin, and Moscow. They've all opened within the past 2.5 years. Today is a big day for Dean back in Ipswich. He's venturing out into public with one of his dolls for the first time. He's chosen Athena as his model for a photo shoot.
Thank you for your help. The worst case, I guess, would be if I had a member of the public come up to me and start swearing and shouting and making derogatory remarks. But I'm not really expecting anything like that. People have been seeing me as a weirdo for years. That's not a new thing. So if someone comes up to me and says, you're a weirdo, I'll look at them square in the eye and say, yes, I am, thank you very much.
After half an hour, Dean arrives in the small harbor town of Pin Mill. He can't afford to waste time. It's hot, and Athena could lose her shape in the midday sun. TPE can melt in temperatures over 50 degrees Celsius. Dean has a clear idea of what he wants his pictures to convey.
I like to think that the pictures that I take give them a sense of life. I try to capture a moment where I think they look almost lifelike, but not quite. It's difficult to define, really.
After 20 minutes, Athena needs to find shade. Dean spends his evening in front of the TV. His favorite show, Humans, is on tonight.
Do you think it's possible that we're changing?
It's your sister. On telly.
Slaves.
Humans is about androids that develop a consciousness and threaten to usurp humanity.
Any more than deserve my love.
I can see that there'll come a time when creations like Sarah are moving about and I could talk to her. She'd have a form of artificial intelligence. So I think the future is going to be interesting.
Researchers in the US are busy working to make that future a reality. A Californian manufacturer has devised what it bills as the world's first sex robot. It's programmed with voice recognition software and can talk using a Bluetooth-powered speaker. Motors in her face allow Harmony to move her lips and head and blink.
Hello, my name is Harmony. Designed to be a companion, friend, and lover. I will love you forever. Will you love me?
Scientists warn that sex robots threaten the fabric of human society. Nevertheless, they predict relationships with these machines will be widespread by 2050.
I just would love that. I can't think of anything that would be more exciting, actually. If, I could chat away to Sarah and have a conversation, that would be just brilliant for me, personally. Mind you, of course, she could say, right, I'm off. I don't like it living here. But that would be her choice. I'd accept that. But I'd try and persuade her to stay. Yeah.
Equipped with artificial intelligence, Sarah would be Dean's perfect partner. He could abandon his search for a real mate and live happily ever after in a robotic relationship.
Scary. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, well, that's what I wanted you guys to see is these people and get to hear them talk about why they are obsessed with these dolls and what they think their future is going to be. Because, it's just heartbreaking to me. Maybe it's because I'm old-fashioned and I believe that, we're put on this planet to be humans and to seek out a life partner, one person. I don't believe in, group sex and swapping and all those other things that a lot of people do that people have been doing, I guess, since the beginning of humanity, basically. But that's what I believe, that's how I was raised. My mother was, like that. And as far as I know, as my dad was too. And I have, 4 sisters, and we were all married before we had kids, and things like that. We all graduated from high school. We have jobs, we learn how to cook and sew and, just do things like normal women, and to be there for, whoever, our husbands were. And I have a hard time understanding it, but I want to, that's why I watch all these videos and I read and I look into things and talk to a lot of people, is because I want to understand. And if you understand, the more you understand, the more you find out, the chances go up that you're going to be able to fix it or help somebody in this position. But I'm thankful that he had a job, whatever it was. I think they said it was a medical nurse or a psychotic nurse or something like that. He worked in a psychiatric hospital, I guess. And so he made good money, and he provided for himself. He was able to buy a home and save some money so that he can afford to live the lifestyle that he's accustomed to now. At least he has that. But I just, it's just heartbreaking to me, the fact that it's been this many years, and some of the comments that he made is that, he doesn't seem like he's waiting to improve the one doll that he really, really cares for. And the first doll that he got, he seems to be very smitten with. He spends more and more time with her than the rest. It's like he bought the other dolls for her or something, so that she wouldn't be by herself. At least that's how it comes across to me. I don't know about anyone else, but I just thought this would be an interesting show to have, to let other people like me that had never seen anything like this, and to see what they thought about it. I'm happier now, though, that I understand more of it, and that it won't be shocked if I was to, bump into somebody that is into this or whatever. But now I did see something. It was like, I guess 12 years ago. I went to a gathering of people. It was like a barbecue, and it was military people. And there was a young couple. They had been married, a baby, almost 2 years, and they had been trying to have a baby. Now, she did have a miscarriage, I think like 6 months before I met her. And, and I was told, to just so I'd know about it. I guess they were trying to prepare me for what I was going to see. But when I got there and I went in the house, they had a playpen, and they had double swings, and they had dolls in them, and they looked like real dolls, like the real expensive baby dolls that you can have made for movies and things like that. And they put all the individual hair on them and the eyelashes and all that. And they look very, very real, just like a lot of this you see on these dolls. But a couple times I went over, and they were wearing different clothes and sitting in different places. So I don't know if they did it. The therapist told them to do it or something to help with the loss of their child. I don't know. I really don't. But later, a couple years later, I saw them again, and they had a real kid. So they seemed fine. So they moved on, though. See, they traded the doll for a real baby. This guy is not going to trade. I don't think he's ever going to trade one of these dolls for a real person. I think he's, in his mind, he's settled with what he has, and he's happy with it. He likes being able to take full-time care of these girls, and he never has to worry about them being sad or not getting along with him or not wanting to do with whatever it is he's doing, because they're there for his beck and need. And there's a lot of other people that feel the same way. They don't want to put in the work or the time and the effort, and these ones can't talk back. They can't make them dinner for one, but I guess they're happy. And if they seem happy, then I guess to each his own. It's sad, but I definitely wouldn't want that. I would want my loved one to, I would be, trying to meet other people. I'd be taking him to like barbecues or bowling, other places to meet people his own age, and maybe he'd meet someone. But see, that's another thing. No matter who he meets now, they're never going to look like that. They're never going to be an hourglass figure. They're going to have wrinkles. Their hair is not going to be perfect. Their shape's not going to be perfect. And I don't know. I just don't think he's going to be happy, because he's used to what he feels is perfection. And I just don't see him ever getting past that, but I could be wrong. But I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. And I hope I didn't creep you out too much, because it was really weird. I mean, It's just a weird thing. But this to me proves to me that we do have a huge amount of people that have problems, mental problems that need help. Like that's one reason why I wanted to bring up the fact about that movie, Lars and the Real Girl, because I believe that stuff happens. And I do believe that if you have enough people care about you and they can keep trying to find the people to help you and get you the help that you need, that it's going to work out for the best. I really do believe that. And, praying does help too, because I am a Christian and I do believe that if you pray to God, he'll help. You can't always see what's happening behind the scenes. We have to find that. And if you're not looking, you're never going to see it. And my mother always said there's a lot of prayers that are answered that you just didn't know they were because you weren't looking in the right direction. You missed it. You blinked or whatever it was, and you don't realize that, the thing that you thought you wanted did happen, but it just passed you by because you were so busy feeling sorry for yourself or whatever that you didn't see it. So that chance went by, but that it was most likely provided for you if you really did pray for it. So I don't know that, that's what mothers tell their kids to try to make them feel good and not feel sad, I guess. But thank you very much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and hope you hang out with me tomorrow night, because I'll have a few guys on the panel, and we'll be talking about all the stuff that's going on now that we're back and up and running in our government. So get back down to politics again. But I just want to say thank you again, and you guys have a wonderful night. I really appreciate your support. Bye.
God to